Hello and welcome to WINOL LIFE. I'm George Berridge and I'm joined by Hannah Keegan.
And coming up on today's show,
Restaurant Giraffe Basingstoke gets reviewed.
We then look at the latest WINOL Games review show.
And Coldplay's marketing manager speaks to us. But first, joining us on the show today is the entertainment editor from the Daily Echo, Lorelei Reddin. Welcome, Lorelei.
Thank you so much for joining us.
So, Lorelei, thank you for joining us today. So, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How did you get into journalism?
I've always just really been particularly nosy, even as a child, so I always really wanted to be a journalist. I've got these sort of current affairs books from when I was a little girl, so it's the sort of the path I took right through my education, and I did a degree in journalism, which is quite unusual for journalists. They've normally done English or history or something like that, or it was in my day. Much more prevalent now. And I just started working for one of my lecturers for an agency. We did a lot of national media stuff, and I've been working for NewsQuest for about 10 years now on various papers, Salisbury Journal, Andover Advertiser. Just worked my way up to news editor there, and then I came to the Echo about 6 or 7 years ago, first doing news, and I now do entertainments editor for 4 or 5 years. So.
Fantastic. What made you want to specialise in entertainments?
It's just something I'm really interested in, all the elements of it. I mean, it's just basically people going out and enjoying themselves, you know, film, music, theatre. You have a fantastic time doing it, and it's so such fabulous treats we get in this area as well.
Definitely.
Get to meet brilliant people, really interesting characters, and lots of one-offs that I get to do, you know, dancing on stage with Bon Jovi and riding in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and things like that. The money can't buy experiences, yeah.
That sounds pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. And so have you always been a writer, or have you produced kind of video things as well?
I was very much more a writer in the first place, but we are being asked more and more to get involved in video
As it
now.
becomes more apparent.
Yeah, our website's proving really successful, so we're doing some video for that, but I'm not wildly happy with it, but I'm doing my best to learn, yeah. You've got to be much more multimedia now. There's far less people and more elements to it.
Definitely. Well, we have got a video feature to show you. It is a restaurant review of Giraffe, which is a restaurant which does foods from around the world. And Becky and Zoe went to the Basingstoke branch to see if it's a neck above the rest. So let's take a look.
Giraffe is located in the centre of Basingstoke, right outside the main shopping centre, Festival Place. It offers a wide range of meals suitable for everyone at all different prices. One of the great things happening at the moment is the lunchtime menu, which offers a main course and a drink, all for £6.95. For our starters, I had the chicken pot stickers. The chicken tasted absolutely lovely. The batter was so nice. For our main course, I had the Giraffe, which is a burger with melted cheese and bacon. Becky had the Thai duck stir fry, really nice and spicy, and the duck was cooked perfectly.
Okay, so now we're on to our dessert. I'm having the chocolate brownie. So now we're well and truly stuffed. We've had our 3 courses and I'm full to the brim. We've had a lovely day here at Giraffe. All the staff have been really, really friendly and attentive, and I'd definitely be coming back here again.
Wow, Becky, Zoe, that looked absolutely delicious. I'm pretty hungry now.
Yeah. And what did you think of the feature, Lorelei? Sorry.
I really liked it, actually. I loved it. I hadn't even really thought of doing food reviews before in that way, but I really like the idea of it because, of course, it brings it to life completely. So, I mean, I think a big part of the reviews that I do in the paper are the pictures. So when you've got the food there in front of you, you can really imagine being there. And I like the fact that it brings your character out in it as well. It's more of a personal review. I think the restaurant would be delighted with it. I mean, from a journalistic point of view, the sort of reviews I write, I would say that it might perhaps be too big a plug or too advertising led. But you didn't have very much time anyway to say much about your food, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah, because this was your first restaurant review for both of you, so how did you actually find doing it?
It was really good. We really enjoyed it, and because we hadn't done any before, we were unsure of how critical to be of the food, so when we did look it back, we did find ourselves talking more of the positives and not really bringing out the negatives, so we've definitely learnt from that for our next one.
And review something you've had a lot of experience in the past? Something you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of theatre and music reviews, pretty much 2 or 3 a week, but I do a lot of restaurant reviews as well. I do get involved in the food and drink side of the paper.
I'm quite envious now.
Yeah, which is fabulous, but it is a really difficult balance to get in terms of how critical to be about the food or service or any slight problems you've had. You want to be as honest as you can be in order people are going to be watching this and possibly going back there. But certainly in terms of commercial organisations, you sometimes have people advertising with you or being particular friends of the company, or it is quite a difficult balance to draw, especially with food and drinks. They're so led by what their reviews say, TripAdvisor, that sort of thing.
Yeah, would you feel guilty for giving a bad review?
No, not for giving a bad review, but I mean, I have heard of restaurant reviewers putting restaurants out of business, and I mean, can you imagine that's someone's livelihood? So it's really difficult to get the right balance.
No pressure there.
I'd say always try, and even if you do have a very negative experience, obviously do make sure that people are aware of that negative experience, but do try to bring out these are the positives of what happened today. So.
Okay. Well, thank you. And up next is our latest WINOL Games review show with Ewan Kenwell and Graham Marshall, featuring the current release of Call of Duty. So let's take a look at this one.
Hello and welcome to WINOL Games.
Coming up on today's show,
Reviewing the latest addition to the 007 franchise. Unfortunately, tedious is how we describe most of the game. Open combat either becomes incredibly frustrating as wave after wave of enemies attack you,
or boring as killing them becomes more of a chore than fun. First impressions of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
The symbols you have always looked to for strength are smouldering. This is what your greed has brought you.
It looks good, it plays well, and whilst it doesn't bring much new gameplay to the table, it's still a great addition to Call of Duty.
And the next big release, we look at Bethesda's new powerhouse, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Another main draw of the Elder Scrolls series is the chance to indulge the kleptomaniac inside. If you don't steal absolutely every single thing you come into contact with, you ain't doing it right.
The unadulterated joy you get from breaking into a house, stealing everything, and then selling it back to the owner. Well, that's at least 30 hours of gameplay right there.
Did we mention the dragons? Don't you just hate it when you leave your dirt hovel, only to be encased in a fiery tomb? Damn dragons.
You've been watching WINOL Games. See you online.
Yeah. And thanks to that, Ewan. So, as a fan of the Call of Duty franchise myself, I find that I've only just played the new game and have found that the franchise may be becoming a little bit stagnant.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of people have been saying that actually, because over the past sort of 5 years or so that the newer series has been running, people have found that it's just not bringing anything new, and the experience is becoming less and less fun.
Yeah, so you would say that gamers maybe start to drift away from the franchise a little bit?
Yeah, I think, well, there's a lot of shooter games out there to choose from, so they'll go for something like Battlefield or Gears of War.
All right.
And did any of this captivate your interest at all?
I really liked it. I must say I'm not a gamer. I do have somebody who does all my gaming reviews for me because I'm not, I don't have a clue, but I loved the mix of the actual sequences from the games. It's fantastic that you're able to use that. It really draws people in. And you've also got a really good chemistry, I think, between the two of you. It's quite funny, yeah.
Your second games review show you've done now, so how's that going?
It's going quite well now, actually. We've been, obviously, second one, so we've worked on the format a lot more, and we think that's getting better. And, I mean, it's a fun time at the moment because there's so many games coming out in the run-up to Christmas that it's just very exciting.
Must be a good excuse for you to sit and play them for hours on end.
Very good, yeah.
It's a hard life. Now for an exclusive and something that may be a little more up Lorelei Street, Coldplay's marketing manager, Alex Eden Smith, the man responsible for the success of Tiny Temper, speaks to David Champion, our music correspondent.
I am a marketing manager for Parlophone Records at EMI. That's sort of like, it's more than marketing, it's kind of more like project management, so I get involved in everything. I get involved with everything from like photo shoots to artwork to the kind of general strategy with releases and working with the kind of promo teams to make everything come together. I work on acts like I work on Tiny Tempo, Coldplay, Gorillaz, all of Damon Albarn's projects, Danger Mouse, and some US repertoire like Beastie Boys, Norah Jones and Lady Antebellum recently.
You mentioned Tiny Temper. I hear you got an award for your work with them?
I did, yeah. Music Week Award, Campaign of the Year for the kind of marketing and promotions for Tiny Temper's album Discovery.
What would you say has been the proudest moment of your career so far?
Probably seeing Tiny kind of get 2 Brit Awards last year. That was kind of a crowning moment. When you've known someone when they've come from basically nothing, and you've kind of built a personal relationship with them and a professional relationship, and seeing them kind of get to that level was a real kind of moment for me.
Wow, David, that's quite an interview you managed to get there. What can you tell us about meeting Alex?
Yeah, it's a really amazing experience actually. I'm obviously very into music myself and sort of quite into some of the music he's been involved in. Like, I'm really into Coldplay. So yeah, it's quite an experience for me to meet him. He's very, very interesting guy, as you can imagine. But he's also, he's really eloquent as well. So he puts across his interesting experiences really well. So it was really, it was a really nice experience actually.
It sounds like it. And Lorelei, he's quite a big name in the industry. And what did you think of the interview?
Absolutely, yeah, it's a bit of a coup to get him. It's really, really good. Yeah, I thought the questions and everything were excellent, and he's obviously an interesting behind-the-scenes guy. I think sometimes that can be more interesting than bands in some ways, because they're quite media trained in what they say and this sort of thing. What I would say, I know it's only a clip you mentioned, but just like a news story, you need to be able to draw the reader or viewer in. So it's best to go with the angle first, or so the top, perhaps some of the top questions more about some of the bands he's been involved in, even if you have to cut it from the end of the interview.
Yeah, brilliant. And as entertainment is your forte, have you done similar interviews like this in your career?
Yeah, lots. I interview all sorts of bands and theatre stars quite regularly. But I actually would think about doing a little bit more behind the scenes stuff, because sometimes those people are all the more interesting. John Giddings, for example, who puts on Isle of Wight Festival, is a fascinating character, and the names he can mention and the stories he can tell are probably much more interesting than you'd ever get out of the band.
Thank you for joining us today, David, and thank you for joining us as well, Lorelei. Thank you very much.
And if you want to look at David's full interview with Alex, you can go to winol.co.uk. But that is all for us today, and obviously for more award-winning news in sport and features, go to winol.co.uk. Goodbye.
Goodbye.